us.
Hey, what's up?
Hi. It's Jess. No,
Hi.
I mean, you're Jess. Got to go opposite.
Yeah.
I'm Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Hey, look, Jess. I feel like we're worlds apart.
I know we're so far away. We're on the other. I'm on the other side. I'm on the dark side of the moon.
I don't have a way to come back to that. I'm sorry.
Come visit me on the dark side of the moon.
No. No, I say on the white or the light side. I just thought that was funny. How do we even know that's the moon?
I mean, it could be Phobos. That's another moon.
I don't even. I'm sorry. What?
It's a moon from a different planet. It's like what are Jupiter's moons or Saturn's moons? I forget. Phobos. Phobos.
I don't know.
Secretly the Death Star.
Oh. I just went to check to see that we were live on Facebook, and I just saw a memory. Sorry to totally off topic, but I just saw a memory from Isabel when she was little that she said, "The utensils look beautiful on that tree." She was little.
I love it.
Kids are funny.
Yeah, I love it. And Christmas is a special time.
Yeah, it sure is.
I've been having fun. I played at the senior center.
Yeah.
Because everybody's healthy, and we played at the senior center, and I played all Christmas songs. And there's a lady there who she was like a keyboardist from in the 70s, and she knows all these funk songs from the 70s.
Oh, that's awesome.
So incredible.
Do she play with you?
Yeah, we jam out.
Oh, that's awesome.
We jam out, yeah. And she usually just gets it naturally, without a chord chart, and I'm looking at chord charts. So
that's cool.
It's a lot of fun. I like to do it. It's very fun for me.
What does she play? What kind of song? What songs? That I would know.
Tell me something good.
Oh.
Tell me that you love me. Yeah.
I'm trying to think who that is.
Grooves. And she got the clav. Wow.
Oh, she does that on the keyboard?
Yeah, on the keyboard. Yeah. See, I have a really great social scene. I hang out with people at the edge of their life, and we have lots of fun.
They're in their Vata season.
Yeah, we're all going to get there. It's fun to hang out.
For sure. That's got to be awesome. Oh, I got to start our chat. Let people know that we're live. I was from Saturday night from the moon.
Right?
Yeah. It is Tuesday. I forgot even what day it was.
I know, right? It's Thursday in workday weeks because tomorrow's Friday because it's a double weekend.
And poor Brian, Brian, Healing for Ascension, Brian, he's been struggling so hard with his Wi-Fi stuff at his house. He can't really get anything to connect right, and we can't stay connected, and he freezes up. I told him I was going to change his name to Elsa because he's always frozen.
He's always frozen.
Yeah. Seriously, it was so bad.
Who else has been having technology issues? My phone went kooky on me for 2 weeks. My van went kooky on me for a while. It's everything went kooky all at once.
Yeah, but that was fixable. You know what I mean? You knew what it was, right?
I knew that my steering was all effed up, and that I couldn't steer super strength. You had to be Hulk to turn it.
Right.
It was missing half the bearings in the wheel housing thingy, steering. Yeah, thingy.
But that was diagnosable and fixable. He's had his internet provider out to his house 3 or 4 different times. And it's just crazy. And so then he went down to the shop where he does his healing work. And so, we're trying to on the back end try to like identify what the heck is going on. We connect down there onto their Wi-Fi, and it's still an issue. So the lady that owns the place, like she streams down there, like she does her own.
The computer's messed up.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like maybe it's his wireless card or something, but he does it from his phone, and his phone is hit or miss too. So I don't know.
It's the spirits, man. You know, it's like when you're having trouble with the internet, why fight it?
I'm lighting some sage.
Let's do it.
Extra protection.
Raise up the sage, man. Get it burning so we can have a talk on some stuff here.
Getting serious.
Yeah, like we're getting serious. Yeah, we're serious. We're serious as it could be.
So how did you feel about the convergence yesterday?
Man, no, I feel everything converging, man. Like the whole universe is like, well, you know, it's just so there's interesting astrological things going on with, you know, Jupiter and Saturn are having a hangout right now.
Yep.
Hanging out. And what my friend Robert Thibodeau was talking about how Jupiter is the expansive planet. It's like the big guy, you know, big planet. And then the Saturn is more the contractive, kind of like inward going, whereas the Jupiter is more outward. And I don't know what that means, but like it's kind of, I guess, you know, it's kind of like everything feels big all at once and small, and you know, I don't know. But you know, all I know is I've been doing the whole what do you call it? I'm kidding. Where I'm doing the whole, you know, hermit thing lately because you know there's no social scene, there's nothing to do.
Right.
You just go inward for a bit, you know. And I'm fine personally. You know, I get, you know, I always find something to do. I always have something to do. But you know, normally go to the bar, maybe see some people, do some things. But nope, nothing. Government says nope, better not do it. You got to stay home and listen to the government because you know they know what's best for you.
You got your fancy babushka.
Oh yeah. So I can rob banks.
Oh.
Stick them up. Give me all your money. I ain't taking no swine, no swill from you people. Put them up.
You're very threatening.
I know. So yeah, okay, so yeah. We're just having fun entertaining ourselves apparently, so on the internet for whatever reason.
There's people talking to it. Well, Ashley said she's had issues with internet too. It just keeps going out. I mean, she is like way out. Right? Sorry about that. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. I found our live thing, so now I can put it on and see like, oh, is there people talking? There is, but for some reason that doesn't always stream into the right chat thing. Like, so I'm on the live on Facebook, and it doesn't seem to stream directly into our restream. So I'm still having to juggle more than I wanted to by doing the restream account, but it's still better. Oh, there you go. Right. So it didn't go into our restream, did it? Oh no, because you did it on Facebook. That's why. I got it. I don't know anything. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. So I was listening yesterday on the Leak Project. I don't know if you listened to Rex on Leak Project. He's fabulous. And he was talking to this guy, and I'm sorry that I don't remember his name. I'll post it on I posted it on my wall. And it was about it was super cool. And I guess there is the shell of the earth that we live on, and then underneath that, because the man talked a lot about the Schumann resonance, that we are. That's why it's called a resonance. The human brain is actually, and the whole body resonates at the same frequency as the Schumann resonance. And so when it is, I guess that gap in between. There's a gap. There's like a core, a crust or whatever. And that has like gotten larger for some reason. He did explain it and I can't remember because it was really late at night. And it does fluctuate from time to time. It also has to do with like our magnetic north and the poles shifting. And because that has shifted, our bodies have to adjust to that.
And so it literally does make people nuts. Like the
Right.
guy talking about it.
That one movie, The Kingsman or whatever, where the cell phones made everyone go cuckoo.
It's like it literally does make people, because we can't we are not resonating with the earth right now. Like that's why we are crazy.
You just got to tune in on a different frequency, man.
And so it was talking about that, and like it was kind of, it reminded me a lot of the book, The Invisible Rainbow, when it recounts throughout history how anytime a new frequency has been introduced into our atmosphere, including like Morse code or electrical lines or new frequency like radar, anytime that has happened, there's been some kind of illness that has some kind of epidemic, including the Spanish flu. And it's sometimes there's been epicenters and stuff like that. But anyway,
don't they say that like getting sick or whatever is the body's way of adjusting to new things?
Mm-hmm. That's how we get herd immunity or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, because eventually I will resonate with you, because you'll bring it into my field, you'll bring it into my auric field, and then I'll adjust.
You'll adjust to my herd mentality.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, so he was talking about that at length, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's kind of beyond me. Like, there's so much information out there, but it's such, it's not fringe science really, or it's really niche science.
It's the stuff that people aren't normally talking about, and to me, it's all very interesting. As a musician, the idea of that we resonate on it, like the Schumann resonance, and I've heard people talk. I was listening to what was it, like one of these guys, Michael Jacko or somebody, and they were saying that supposedly, like that in secret space program stuff, that people, when they're like off world on a ship, if the ship people would start getting weird on the ships, and so that they would so they would have to mimic the Schumann resonance, right. I'm sure, as well as some kind of gravitational field.
Yes,
so people feel normal,
right?
Because humans, we're what we call homeostasis. We have to stay in our homeostasis, which we're used to being on a planet that's spinning at a certain speed and creating a certain gravitational field, and
And that's why there's so many people that are becoming or realizing that they're really sensitive, and that maybe it's not so crazy to like put some like amethyst in your pocket. Like, it's not so crazy to do that. It actually helps me.
Crystals have some properties.
Yeah, it does help you.
So I like, and they look cool too.
Yeah. Actually, and I've talked about it before. I actually sleep on a mat that has amethyst in it, and there's a good reason why, because I actually feel better because it
works, huh?
Yeah. I honestly say, like, if the Schumann resonance or we weren't adjusting right now, I probably wouldn't sleep on it because it's not that comfortable. But I do feel better in my body. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. It's just like when people had their fan on at night.
Yeah.
People like those frequencies, and that's why, whether guys it or not, that's what they actually like. That's why I love music.
I have to sleep with a white noise. Well, what do you think that is?
What? White noise?
A white noise, yeah. Oh, I need my noisemaker to sleep. Well, that's what that is.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, it's got to be white. I'm making jokes over here. It's called being jokey.
Pink noise? I mean, what would you like?
I prefer Caucasian noise very much.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but you probably haven't been Caucasian in all your lifetimes.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's true. I'm 100% sure that's true, and I won't be. I always tell people that I'm only going to be a quote unquote white male for like another 40 years, 50 years. That's going to be something else.
If you're lucky.
So far, so good. God bless America.
Right?
Yep. Enjoy your body while you can. Whatever body you have, whatever color it is.
Right. So like Restream. So the accuracy on this stuff is questionable. Do you notice that? You see how many people are watching us live right now?
It's 6, and then on Facebook we've got. Yeah, I guess it says 3 on Facebook, but
I see 1. So the accuracy is, but we're streamed on many places though. We're streamed on Periscope and YouTube and Facebook, and so I don't know if it's streamed in real time though. I know it is in Periscope because we've gotten messages from Periscope.
Okay.
So I don't know.
You know, I have a submarine myself.
Sandwich? Like
yeah, no. That's what a periscope is for. It's for to look in the submarine. You put the periscope up to look at what's going on above the water. That's what a periscope is. And that's where they got their name from, because apparently everybody is in a yellow submarine.
We all live in a yellow submarine.
Yellow submarine. Yellow submarine.
Ashley says, lives are acting funny too. Lives are acting funny too, guys. They aren't loading right for me.
Yeah, I think they're switching the towers or something. Like, you know, they're trying to go 5G or whatever. I went to get my phone fixed, and they're like, yeah, they're changing the towers from 4G to 5G everywhere, and that's why your phone's messed up.
I don't know, but my nose started running as soon as we started streaming. So I'm sorry if I keep wiping my nose, but I really don't want it running in my face.
I don't mind.
It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
If you want to cry, it's okay.
I'm not crying.
But no, it's okay. You can.
You might make me cry.
Don't cry.
So anyway, I think that's all I had to say about that guy. There's so much information. So I do highly recommend you looking up Leak Project and Vulcan Mind.
Are you out of your Vulcan mind?
Probably. How's my Vulcan Ridge?
Oh yeah, I love your cranial. Your cranial lobe, like
my cranial lobe.
Go, yeah. That's me being Klingon. But I know some Klingon words. But you know, we could ramble all day. Let's get into that Tibetan Buddhist book of yours.
I was trying to make you a joke picture, by the way, and it didn't work out for me. I figured your Tibetan Buddhist guides were protecting you from the tease, so they wouldn't let me save it, and I couldn't send it to you before we went live.
Okay, yeah, it could be, man. You never know.
It was going to be funny. All right, so yes, we were on chapter 4, and of Tibetan Buddhism from the ground up. Just kind of using this as a framework, as a guideline to walk us through some things, some principles. A spirit of emergence, the thirst for certainty. I almost read creativity because I should be wearing my glasses.
I told you.
I'd be squinting and saying things wrong, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised how it helps reading.
Surprising.
I'm sorry, I'm being sarcastic.
I know. The Buddhist theory of continuity of consciousness may be regarded as plausible, but not conclusive.
Oh, right. He's using very flowery language. He's talking about continuity of consciousness after death. He said, may be plausible, meaning that it's possible. In other words, keep an open mind to the idea that consciousness continues after life.
Which we covered in the last 2 chapters, correct? Kind of?
Literally, yeah. We talked about death last week. But
I guess we didn't really talk about how consciousness continues after death. We kind of just put it off, didn't we?
I think we did get into it a little bit. Yeah, and it got. I started talking about some interesting things, and we were like a little bit tweaked by it.
Yeah, and then we didn't see somebody's comment until after we ended that they thought that there was no consciousness in the spirit in this when you become spirit, and we're like,
well, if there's no consciousness when you become spirit, then who's experiencing what? Like, is there something happening? And if there is, who's experiencing it? You know, like if you're talking about afterlife or spirit, or like there's, I don't know. I'm not really sure what that particular person was trying to get at, but can't worry about it. What everybody says on the internet.
I always think that we're going to remember when we come back to it, and then it ends up being a week later, and I'm like, now what was that? I don't remember. But I think it was something in that regard, like, I mean, it really comes back to the whole, like, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, that we are not this, meat suit.
Well, we're part meat suit.
A vehicle. What?
Like I said, we're part meat suit.
It's a vehicle.
Here, but we're definitely, you know what I mean? Like, if you think about your consciousness, where does it begin and where does it end? Kind of, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jess. We started talking at the same time.
It's all good. Go ahead.
It's a vehicle in which that it can pick up information through our senses.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like basically our senses seem to be situated in this like physical form, being the kind of like call it to quote like assemblage point. What's that guy? Castaneda. Carlos Castaneda used to talk about the assemblage point, which is basically where your attention is.
Say that again.
Assemblage point, like where your attention resides, kind of like if you were to pinpoint where your attention is. Yeah. Because like if you're out of a body, then where is the thing you point to as being you? So I guess what you talk about as assemblage point is that one point where the attention is. Your mind is there too because your attention is there.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, it's assemblage point. It's a conglomerate. It's everything. Grand conjunction is conjuncting the consciousness with the object of the consciousness.
Yesterday.
I know. Happy solstice. Hey guys, we're on the other side of the short days are getting longer now. It's getting longer.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to start talking when you do. Like, I don't want to cut you off because I think we do that.
No, I was just thinking.
What's that?
So I was just thinking, out loud.
Oh, that's good.
No.
So death is also about the nature of mind and its role in the universe. It asserts that awareness is one of fundamental constituent. There's those glasses. Constituents of the universe. No less essential than matter of energy, and that the potentials of awareness are just as awesome as those of any physical phenomena. The question, what does it mean to be conscious, now takes a cosmic significance.
Yeah. Well, he's really referring to, we talked about this before, the idea of the universe is made of matter and energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Energy, but also consciousness being one of the third ingredient that is kind of left out of Western thought. It's very prevalent in Eastern thought. And so when you kind of combine the two wisdoms, the Western thought and the Eastern thought, it's like, what is the whole universe made of? Matter, energy, consciousness. So now we got those three things, right? So the thing we really haven't been looking at and we should be looking at is consciousness. I'm going to use this word. Consciousness.
Isn't matter just density? Isn't matter just density of energy?
Well, yeah. And sound is vibration, and vibration is sound. It all works together. It is one unified field.
Tomato.
I say potato, you say potato, tomato. Yeah. So so that's what B. Alan Wallace's thing is, and a lot of Buddhist scholars and Western Buddhist scholars are all about. Well, let's look at this thing called consciousness that we haven't been really analyzing, and understand how it functions. Because the idea is it's more than the brain. It's the brain is the like a functionary piece of that.
Mhm.
But our consciousness has these different aspects to it in terms of like how our perceiving reality, and how our brain works, how our mind works. Really, I shouldn't say brain, our mind. So he's exploring that. He's like an astronaut.
He's like a Buddhist astronaut.
You bet.
Okay, so then he goes on to ask a few more questions.
Let's do it.
Okay. If on the basis of evidence available to us, we tentatively conclude that we will experience future lives following this one, the question needs to be posed. Is the nature of the future experience coherently related to our present way of life, or does this sequence of lives occur randomly? There's another 2 more questions.
Yeah, I guess
Lay them on you.
he's deep. Yeah, go ahead.
And if our present behavior does influence our future lives, the karmic wheel, right?
Right.
What behavior is beneficial and what and if our present behavior does influence our future lives, what behavior is beneficial and what is harmful?
Right. So let's do a little analyzation, right? Like me and you are sitting here, like I'm sitting in this couch and you're sitting in your room right there. What did you have to do to get to this moment? To get to the moment where you have where you're at. You created all those kind of the circumstances. You know, of course, everything happens together. The universe is all colliding with you, and but in other words, by the things you've done, led you to this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, the things you do in this moment will lead you to the next moment. I mean, I don't think you have to even say it's theoretical. It's kind of like, you know, how time flows for humans.
Linear time.
Yeah. So that begs the question, you know, do our actions matter right now? In other words, are we creating karma right now? Or what kind of actions are we creating for ourselves, and where is that going to lead us? You know, it's kind of asking you like, are you going in a good direction or are you going in a bad direction? Because quite frankly, both of those options are available. So yeah, he's a really good, he's good. So he's asking that fundamental question. He's like saying, okay, so there's consciousness, right? So how do you use your consciousness to create a better reality? And what's the better reality? You know, in other words, how do you create like positive karma is kind of what he's getting at. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, he does go on to talk a little bit about a profusion of sources that claim to have knowledge in inquiry to these questions or answers to these questions, such as mediums, clairvoyants, palmists, astrologers, psychics, mystics, self-proclaimed enlightened beings. All of these and more step forward to offer us guidance. The Buddha certainly is claimed to have experiential knowledge of these matters, resulting in his own spiritual awakening. And Buddhists ever since have spoken with authority on the basis of Buddha's and others' contemplative experience.
Right. Yeah, the idea, what the Buddha did is he created the template for other people to practice. You know,
and he mentions other Buddhas.
Yeah, older Buddhas. Yeah. So from the Buddhist standpoint, Shakyamuni Buddha, the current Buddha of this eon, you know, Siddhartha, is kind of like, it's kind of like his tenure. Like he's principal of the school right now. He's like the kind of the figurehead. And then after a certain amount of time, the Buddhist teachings will get lost, apparently. And then at that time, the future Buddha Maitreya will come down from Tushita heaven and take Shakyamuni's place as the kind of the throne holder of knowledge on the earth. And so in the past, there's all these like thousands of Buddhas in the past that precede the current Buddha. So that's kind of it's like a timeline, I guess, if you will, of kind of Buddhist kind of.
That was like the next couple pages was Siddhartha Buddha.
Yeah.
So is he currently incarnated? Like currently a man or is he something like physical person?
Well, he was like 2,600 years ago or whatever, right? Like the historic. So yeah, he was alive, and then
Okay.
he died around 80, according to what we know and stuff. He like ate a pork sandwich or something. Like there, you can like read the original Pali where it says how Buddha died or whatever. Like,
Really?
but like he was like 80, and the idea is like these beings incarnate on purpose to they're fully enlightened, so they can kind of like function however they want in the material realm and choose a specific time and place so as to benefit the most amount of beings, and help, and so the story of the Buddha, even if you don't know much about Buddhism, just knowing the story of the Buddha is a really positive message, because it
Right.
tells you that you can develop these qualities. Hey, yeah, that's good.
That's okay. No, keep talking. I just want to grab something. I just wanted you to be front and center because
Oh,
you're such a brilliant person.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. Kind and brilliant. But people don't realize, are you out of your Vulcan mind?
Keep talking, Jess. I can hear you.
Okay. How do you do, everybody?
So you're going to be and you might cry.
What is it? I can't see it. You're in small screen.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Siddhartha. There you go. Look at that. I like that. What do you call it? Pseudo Sanskrit font.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's kind of like the story of his.
Yeah.
Like
it's profound.
It's like a storybook.
Yeah, it's a great story. You could have like a kind of almost like a children's story version of it, and then you can have like the scholar level of it, and everything in between. And that's what's great about it. It's just like Jesus Bible stories. They can paint them in so many different ways. That's art. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like this illustrated version. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is the earthbound version.
Yep.
Earthbound.
Just want to show that to you. Anyway, moving on. All right. So where were we? I'm sorry.
We're on the moon.
Yes, we are.
That's the point of that. Sorry, go ahead. We were talking about the Siddhartha and the eons of Buddhas and this Buddha.
That even that mystics and astrologers, palmists can kind of help with guidance, or they claim to have such knowledge to offer wisdom.
What's the whole statement again? I'm lost.
I'm sorry. He asked those questions about future experience coherently related to our present way of life, or does this sequence of our lives occur randomly? And if our present behavior does influence our future lives, what behavior is beneficial and what is harmful? So, like, what karmic things are we writing, I would assume, for our next life? And, like what things are we healing?
Right. There's a different message too. I did like, yeah, you could go and ask like the seer, and you could ask the psychics, and nothing wrong with that, and you can do that. But really, actually, all you have to do is look at the actions you're taking currently.
Right. That's right.
Mathematical equation about where you're going to be 5 steps from now, and and then of course bring in the Buddhist aspect, which is like you're looking at like the accumulation of your actions and how they will affect your next life and the life after that.
And then he goes on to say, all of these and more step forward to offer us guidance. And so, I mean, assuming that they are of good intentions, right? And they are light workers, and that you are using your own intuition and your own guidance as a balance, because that's always a thing.
Right.
The Buddha certainly is claimed to have experiential knowledge of these matters resulting from his own spiritual awakening, and the Buddhists ever since have spoken with authority on the basis of the Buddhas and other contemplative experience. Was
Yep.
kind of the there's another
Yeah.
but just that, you know, channeled sources. He talks a little bit about that. But I mean, ultimately, you always have to channel your own.
Yeah. You can't always like rely on like tarot and like divination. Like those things are helpful things, but don't sit there and ask questions you already know the answer to. Like, you know, you have to, you know, you have your own wisdom mind. You have to access your own. Just simple, but the real simple thing is things you do now will lead up to the things you do where you're at in the future. Be smart, create your own reality, do the things that are going to put you in that positive position. But the thing is unfortunately, we create our own suffering constantly too, and we do that without even, you know, we think we're trying to make things better, but and a lot of times we're making it worse. So it's tricky. So you have to really think. You have to really use your mind.
And I think when you are honing a new skill, it is, or, you know, when you're honing a new skill and you seek somebody else that's better at it, like Dreama. Dreama is somebody that I may have gotten, you know, some kind of message. I'll ask her about it because she's really good at that, and she's really good about filtering her own information from mine. And so she'll help me to discern what that message is for me. And but that's something that, you know, you develop in a very trusting relationship, so it's okay. But I guess I also went and visited it was before the COVID experience. Before COVID, this would have been last year. We went to gosh, what did they call it? Yeah, it was. I think we just kind of nicknamed it the psychic fair, but it wasn't. It's not what it's called.
It comes here too. Yeah, sure.
It's not what it's called. And but there was people offering all of these readings and stuff, like which I mean, that's fine. Everybody has their own take on everything. But I felt it like it was so weird because maybe because I've always done them. I guess I don't do just reading. I don't know. I just don't do the same type of things, I guess. And I do more maybe because I come with my own gifts. And so they're more, I don't know. It was just so, it was, I've never been to anything like that was more commercialized. And so it was so weird to see people like just doing like stuff that it was just very out in the open. It was like,
right, kind of weird. Like that, like at a hotel or something.
Yeah. It was at the Deltaplex, but yeah, it was like it was kind of like in everybody else's dressing room. That's kind of what it kind of felt like to me, because like when you have your own kind of abilities or you know, sense of that stuff, it was like, wow, this is kind of weird.
I know, right? Like everybody's got their style of communication. I mean, like, you know, I get it. Like everybody should get, you know, paid for what they do if they do something well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I guess I luck out in the sense that I just usually have really cool people to talk to, and just talking to people is that, you know, and we get stuff from each other constantly in terms of, you know, like, oh, did you ever think of it? So you're getting some kind of message, you know. So, but some people like they have that calling to do that more in the public thing, and you know.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Like, but I had never been in a public place where it was just it's always been a very it's not been like it really always. It's just been, I don't know. It's not like, I don't know. It was just weird. It was so, I mean, everybody has their own thing, you know?
It's like, yeah, it's weird. It's okay to say it's weird. It just it feels a little bit showy. Like I have a little bit of issue with anything that's showy. in terms of spirituality or in terms of helping other people, I tend to feel like it should be more like educational kind of stuff, like a college course where you get good information and make sure it comes from valid sources and it's proven to work for other people. That's the whole idea with a good spiritual path should have kind of proof.
But there was a lot of really great pieces of information there. There was still tons of. I would go back.
It could be really good. There could be really good people. Yes. There could be total hokey hucksters too. Like snake oil salesmen. There's going to have everything.
Yes, there was.
Yeah, sure.
There was weird, like tractor beam laser-eyed lady there, and Isabel was like, "Mom, why is that lady looking at?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let's go over here." Like
to the Death Star.
Yeah, like try to like pull it in, but no, we're not. I don't know. I don't know what her deal was. I don't got time for that. I don't know if she was trying to like practice her. I don't know. So I don't know if she was trying to get a read or I don't know.
Well, she's probably trying to draw you in. It's kind of like like a salesperson sees you and they're like, "Come."
That's what I took it as, but I don't have time for that.
You know what? Well, yeah. But I'll just say this: they're not looking at you; they're looking at your pocketbook.
Oh yeah, you had that experience when you were in.
Yeah, when I was in college, walking through the red light district to the bar, and because I was staying in the red light district. Just right? Where I was staying, and so you walk somewhere to get a coffee or something. You're walking past, women in their underwear, like with a hot steaming kind of like massage table in it, and they're like, they're trying to get you to come in, and they're looking at you, and you're like, ooh. But then when you realize that they're really not looking at you as a man, or you as a woman, or for me as a man, they're looking at your pocketbook. And once you realize that, it like takes the magic and turns it off right away, like they have no power over you, like because you see guys are like, do they come? And they're like, and they'll come. You see them just like when you see a guy going into the room, it's almost you're like, oh, she got you. God, my precious doll.
Wow.
Hey, that's real life stuff, man.
That's interesting. But there was a lot of because there was people that like did talks and they talked about different things that they were teaching, and there was a lady that's running. It's down in like Indiana. Her business is called like the Zen Den, and it's like a meditation studio, and she literally just teaches people to meditate. I think that's really cool. Like it's like in Indianapolis, so like a bigger city. I think that's pretty cool. Like,
is it in the city?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because places like that are great. It's like a little refuge haven, and it's a great place to just practice in that energy of the city. Yeah.
So I listened. I went to her talk. So was a lot of really, and then there was some great vendors. So there was a lot of great information there. So I would definitely recommend it. So I would recommend it. I just would recommend that you, like if you're new to that scene, that to take somebody that was maybe a little bit more experienced.
Right. Right.
Along with you.
Oh, crystal ball.
Or if you go and have a reading, just know that take it for the entertainment value of it, and then see somebody that is more of a healer.
I would take it as entertainment with the chance of getting some knowledge.
Well, and go to a healer that can help, that will heal along or go walk with you through your healing. Like that's somebody that,
Right. Right.
You're only going to see them one time. They probably don't even live near you. It's a little different. But I mean, you can always do distance too. So like Sean the Shaman, he doesn't live near me. So
right. Just zoom.
Yeah. He does distance stuff. So
well, there's no distance. There's no distance when it comes to the mind.
No. People do distance energy healing all the time, which is a little bit different, or same but different. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. So okay, where are we at? What's going on?
Siddhartha,
Siddhartha.
Buddha.
Siddhartha Buddha.
Okay, you can just go with that. Was kind of like the next section talking about. So it's like you memorize this book or something. Like it's just like the template.
You start talking and it all unfolds in me because I've probably heard this from before, you know. But there's a standard like curriculum in Buddhism, which kind of is pretty groovy, actually.
So the next section is what is enlightenment? When you reach samadhi.
When you reach somebody, reach out for somebody and somebody.
But you can't actually want it because then you won't get it.
I know, that's my problem. I want it too bad.
We should probably explain that. If there's samadhi is the
I'm joking. No, samadhi.
Samadhi is the lack of desire, but if you desire it, you won't get it. Right?
Well, okay, so samadhi actually means, if you break it down in Sanskrit, the syllable D in samadhi, D is considered to be like this wisdom syllable. And when you say D, it's like D means so like kind of wisdom essence. So like the Manjushri mantra, the Buddha of wisdom, the Bodhisattva of wisdom, his mantra is Oma Rapatana D. And the D, Oma Rapatana D, Oma Rapatana D. And so samadhi, Sam means to be with. Like Sam is like the Sanskrit, like we call it prefix for with. So samadhi kind of means it's like you're with wisdom, literally, is what it translates to. And what samadhi really refers to is kind of a state, like kind of an absorption state, an absorbed state of meditation, where due to your, like, you're in a high, like, oneness with everything. Your mind is super, like, focused on everything. You're thinking and doing the same thing, you know, like not you're thinking here and doing over here. It's all one. Samadhi, everything is joined with wisdom. So that, yeah, I like words. I like breaking words down. So
I like that you do that.
Out on words sometimes.
So that would then be different than the question that is the next part of the book is, what is enlightenment? And he does, this first sentence is, within the Buddhist tradition, there are different interpretations of the meaning of the Buddha's omniscience.
Omniscience.
Well, it says omniscience. That's the word.
However you want to say it, you know, it's a free country.
Right.
Yeah, but omni meaning all and science meaning knowledge. It's like means all-knowing mind.
Okay. The most conservative of these asserts that whatever the Buddha's awareness is directed, the chosen object can be perceived without obstruction. Thus, when the Buddha sought the karmic cause of current situation, the causal event immediately became apparent to his mind. So, like manifestation?
No, he realized what caused something.
Oh,
like what caused what, like the root of suffering. Like, yeah, that's what we're getting into now. The Four Noble Truths. Go ahead.
Okay, where was I? Okay.
Yeah, the Buddha had really great samadhi. His mental concentration is perfect. So thus, when he achieved that mental state, he was like, what's the root of suffering? I need to figure this stuff out since I'm here, you know? And he was like, oh, I see where the root of suffering comes from. And continue.
That's okay. I lost my spot and I couldn't find it again. So I was totally distracted.
That was
I was just like,
so the
like mind blowing. Yeah. So,
well, I know that, but that's what beyond. That's what Alan's saying right here. Is he's saying it? The Buddha achieved samadhi, which is a mental concentration mind, and while he was there, he was like, let's figure out this whole suffering thing. Because if you're seeing things from an enlightened state, from a higher state, you see that life is a cycle of birth and death, and you see that everyone's in a different cycle within the birth and death cycle, and you kind of see kind of the almost kind of nightmarish side of it, of like, you know, nothing's like solid forever; it's all going to shift, and so then you get this desire that naturally occurs where you start to be like, well, how do I get out of the cycle? Because I see it, and then so what's the root of it? What's causing the beginning of the cycle? What's making everything turn? And that is that's when you get into the Four Noble Truths of, which is a really important Buddhist teaching.
Which we will get to, right? He does go on and end the paragraph with, a Buddha's vision is also unobstructed by material objects. There are many accounts from the Buddha's life that attest to these abilities. And so B. Alan Wallace is only referring to Siddhartha.
Well, Siddhartha is Siddhartha, yeah, he's talking about Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha is kind of the more orthodox term, I guess you'd say. Like,
okay.
Shakyamuni is Buddhists consider Buddha to be a fully enlightened Buddha who came here for the
Shakti purpose. Meaning earth, right? Shakti meaning earth, Buddha? What does Shakti mean?
Shakyamuni. He's from the clan of the Shakyas. It means it's like the warrior class people.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like the jewel of the Shakyas.
Okay, I heard you wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Shakyamuni Buddha. So Siddhartha is kind of a more it's almost like his disguise name. It's almost like hearing you say Clark Kent, but when we're talking about Superman, and so yeah, Siddhartha. Yeah, it's like, no, this is Shakyamuni Buddha, fully enlightened Buddha, kind of manifesting the story of a human, and using it as a way to question reality in a sense. And so yeah, Shakyamuni Buddha, like Siddhartha is the one who's doing this to illustrate to us kind of the story of how to become enlightened. That's his purpose, to really explore that.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you weren't interrupting me. I was just saying, okay, I understand.
Cool. I know you're brilliant.
Yeah, right.
You are.
So how does that differentiate from and maybe this is outside of the Tibetan tradition, but of the blue Buddha?
Well, blue, red, purple, green. It don't matter to the Buddha, because
that's considered the medicine Buddha, right? That's.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you're talking about medicine Buddha. Yeah. Well, so this is the idea, right? So if you're fully enlightened, you can manifest in any form.
Because I really like that tea, by the way, the blue Buddha tea.
I bet.
I do. It's really good.
You should try practicing medicine Buddha. That's even better.
What?
That's a real common medicine Buddha is a meditational deity practiced by many Tibetan Buddhist practitioners, where you work with medicine Buddha manifest in that blue form, and you say medicine Buddha mantra.
You know who I think those blue people are?
The avians.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Blue Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Woo, woo.
Woo, woo.
Anyway, carry on.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are gone.
Mm-hmm. There's been other blue people too. Anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I distract. I digress.
Why are you so blue?
I haven't seen Patsy Cline in a while.
I know. I'm lonely.
Keep talking. So the blue guy. Why is so tell me about blue Buddha.
What is it? Well, so I'm saying that when you say Buddha, it just means enlightened being, right? And so the Buddhas there's multiple Buddhas, there's many Buddhas, and it's the idea is they're not attached to form like we are, well, I'm a this or I'm a color, this color or that color. It's they can just manifest. The idea is they're manifesting in a way that's most suitable for the mind of the people seeing it, so that you can you can think easily of a blue Buddha. You can think of that really as you're deep as you're blue, you're visualizing medicine Buddha in front of you, just like you've seen in the pictures, but you're imagining that medicine Buddha is alive and actually there.
Right.
And the idea is because of the quality of the enlightened mind that they can be there through your visualization practice. And that's why visualization practice is so, they're enthusiastically used within Tibetan Buddhism, because it's visualizing is very powerful. And it's you're gonna like pray, you visualize, you use mantra, you know, you're working with energies, you're doing so many things simultaneously if you're like really a skilled yogi. And so, yeah, so you talk about medicine Buddha, you're really talking about a meditation deity, and there's many of them.
Because well, like Shiva is blue.
Yeah, you can meditate on Shiva, and
you say Shiva, I say Shiva.
You make me shiver all over.
Hey, Shiva. Yeah,
like,
there's other deities that are blue.
They're well, healing. When you meditate on a deity, what happens? You think about their qualities.
I know. I've been putting coins in a thing for Ganesh. Maybe I should say his mantra.
Om Gam Ganapataye Soha.
Namaha.
Yeah, Nama Om Gam Ganapataye Soha. We say that one a lot in my Kirtan group. It's great. I'm pro Mantrayana and I vote.
And you vote?
Yep.
It's Om Gam Gamanate Namaha. I screwed up this.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Yeah, it's not as it's not as, you know, it's not as many syllables as the ones that you do.
Yeah, well, you know, variations on things.
Simple, because I'm simple.
No, do the mantra your teacher gave you, or do the one you've learned. Specifically, if you have a teacher, you do it. Even if they quote unquote mispronounce it, you pronounce it however they say it. That's right. The rule. That's the rule within my school of Tibetan Buddhism. Yeah.
Right, or just do Om.
Om is the center sound of, like, it's like the sound of all the universe. It's like they say it's O-A-M. Those are like the three letters of Om. Om. O-A-M, and it represents body, speech, and mind.
Sound of the universe, Schumann's resonance, which is why not?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yes, it is. So,
yeah, it is.
I think we so what is enlightenment was the last part. He talks a little bit about the path of Dharma, the truth of suffering, which you covered. Foundation of joy, suffering, joy. You know, gotta have balance.
What's to say for that?
Which, joy or suffering?
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, what is the source of suffering? What's the source of joy?
I don't know if he breaks it down that simply, but let's see. Let me turn the page. The path, meditating on the truth of suffering as it implies to ourselves, is a meaning of cultivating a spirit of emergence. Meditating on suffering of ourselves leads to compassion. So your source of suffering.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, they say if you're not suffering right now, imagine your future suffering. Like, you know, it's kind of like a little bit of a bummer meditation, right? But it's like, you're going to have suffering. Either you're suffering now. You know, we have so much subtle suffering that we don't realize that we don't realize we're even suffering. You know,
the frog in the boiling pot.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't even realize it. And so, but if you're skillful, you'll see that in other words, it's like you're covering your bases. It's like, all right, where's the suffering coming in from? You know, because it's not you're getting punished by God or whatever. It's like kind of punishing yourself.
Samsara, disenchantment with samsara, and the wish to attain nirvana occur after one reflects at length on the nature of suffering and cyclic existence.
Yeah, they call it.
Explain that, Bodhisattva.
If you really want to become enlightened, you have to kind of get sick of samsara, which is like you get sick of just. It's like, think of those video games, right, where you respawn, and you're back in the battlefield, and you respawn. And you just see it as this like endless cycle of like kind of like birth and death.
Patch me up, I'll go back in.
Yeah. And so where does it lead to?
It's just a flesh wound. I'll go back in.
Yeah.
Right, is that what you mean?
Well, you know, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to just keep doing it, or are you going to figure it a way out? You know, and so samsara is the wheel of suffering kind of thing.
Our compassion embraces all beings who are subject to mental afflictions, all those who, while striving for happiness, create the conditions of their own misery. Well, isn't that a Facebook post?
Well, yeah.
Maybe we should highlight that.
One thing you can say about Buddhists is like they stick it to you, man. They're not pulling any punches. It's like, who's creating the suffering here, buddy? It's you. And it's not like it's not like they're not coming from this like sin thing. It's not even a thing in like culture, really. I mean, like, oh, I'm a sinner and all this. It's like, no, it's like I have misperception. I need to clear my perception.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly what's creating the problems, and it's really like me, it's like, and so because I'm the cause of my suffering, I'm also the cause of my unsuffering, like I'm the cause of my own nirvana, my own liberation. So therefore, may I strive towards attaining liberation, so therefore that I can help other beings and myself attain omniscience and be free from the pain of rebirth.
I actually had a little bit of because we are dynamic and not black and white necessarily individuals. You can break it down to, well, this is what you're doing, and you're causing this, you're creating this cause and effect reaction, right? But we're as human beings, but we are unique, and we have lots of gray areas. But you know how you talk about, be the Buddha, be the, maybe not you, but we talk about, be the Bodhi, sit underneath the Bodhi tree and observe, or be the witness mind and observe reactions, or observe what happens in your own reactions, not necessarily those around you. And don't respond necessarily and decide how to react before you knee jerk and react inappropriately. Sometimes we don't often take our own ownership in those circumstances, and that's like kind of like next level, is sometimes our own ownership of how our own behaviors have sometimes afflicted those around us to not, how do I say this? Sometimes our behaviors have affected those around us, and they might not have those skills to do those same things. So us just stepping back and saying, I'm just going to be the Bodhi, is not always, I mean, it might be okay then, but sometimes you might have to actually actively diffuse something.
Well, wouldn't you want to be, wouldn't it be nice if you could be the thing that alleviated that suffering, or that you could actually, besides just not doing it, right,
Right.
And
so you can do that.
Yeah.
Observe, but you might actively have to, you can't always be that. I mean, you have to like observe, right? And say, oh, well, last time I did this, and that person might not have the skill to do that yet. So now I have to be the Bodhisattva and teach differently, and teach myself differently, so I don't set that other person up to do that, and then teach them how to do the same thing. So I actually had issue with that during my yoga teacher training. I'm like, no, you can do that, but only for so long. You can't always be just sitting there and, doing the same behaviors and then sitting back and saying, oh, I'm just going to sit here and watch. If you're still, does that make sense?
Well, yeah. Radical responsibility is kind of the idea here in Buddhism. It's like,
right.
It's like you taking radical responsibility of all your everything. There's not something you don't have responsibility. Like it's kind of like, it's all my fault. It's all your fault.
Can you tell that there was actually scenarios that occurred that was talked about? So, yeah.
Well, like, the idea is that, like, so you meditate on the kindness of others. Like, if it wasn't for all of these people, the people who made my clothes, like, if it wasn't for them, I didn't make these clothes. If it wasn't for those kind people making my clothes, like, they're so kind that I have to repay them in some way. How do I repay them? Oh, like, if I could somehow help them achieve enlightenment and be free of suffering and be free of these causes and like tripping ourselves constantly. And so I think that ultimately that happens not by necessarily trying to do something for someone necessarily, but by just kind of being the lesson. Like if you have patience, then if you have like, like an attainment, like an actual attainment of like real patience, not just like pretend or like, look at me, I'm patient, where you're actually embodying patience, then if you speak, your words will be coming from experience, and it has resonance with people. You have to have, but you have to have that realization for people to hear it. Rinpoche used to talk about that. My teacher would talk about that. He said people could describe things the right way perfectly about, like, say, patience or love and this and that, but if they don't actually have the some attainment of those things, it falls flat on the listener, and it doesn't.
Right.
Don't learn. So don't blow hot air at all on people. Like what you really have, deep within, and it will naturally naturally manifest, and you won't have to position yourself as it's happening.
I guess I'll give a better example. So
sure, yeah, please do.
Well, from my own aspect, you did a great job. I didn't give a very good example. So in my special education experience, we did a lot of observing, especially of maladaptive or dysfunctional behaviors for students. So let's say I had a student that came in off the bus, and every day they came in, they had some sort of meltdown, whether they punched somebody or they, went streaking through the whole building. I don't know, whatever it was, they had some kind of meltdown. So
wild days, man.
Well, it happened actually. So if I sat there and was, the Bodhi, sitting under the Bodhi tree and just witnessing, that's kind of the analogy that has been used. If I just witnessed that and didn't, of course, you have to witness to see, okay, what is actually triggering this person? What is the sense? Is it sensory? Is it the transition? Is it lighting? Are they hungry? Are they thirsty? Are they seeing somebody? Is somebody saying something to them that they don't like? Are they frustrated? Are they frustrated with their jacket? Is something bothering them? I do have to first observe. Because obviously we're going to observe if somebody's streaking down, the hallway of the school, it's going to be a problem. But chances are I'm going to meet them when this usually occurs, because it's going to be observed. And then I'm going to somehow intervene and try to help them through the situation. So I am no longer being the observant. I am then ushering and shepherding through what is difficult. And helping them in some way. I might still be continuing to observe, but we're trying to then fix.
It's like you're engaging in the thing that you want them to do in a way, right?
Or perhaps maybe I need to have them go through a different entrance of the school, for example. Right. Maybe it's that entrance. Maybe it's something irritating at I don't know, but I have to observe it first, so that would be appropriate. But what is somehow the school or me as a teacher, am I somehow like some way forcing them to, and it's my sitting under the Bodhi tree is not going to be effective in helping them then learn that skill as well.
Yeah, you got to be obviously, what you have to do in that, it's great. You're helping these people who, their minds are different, really different in different ways. In their own way. We're all different.
And right? I will say that and that's a big experience for me to say that, as a special educator, though we might have what is technically called a normal intelligence, we are no different at all. None. Right. We are no.
I speak sometimes.
Yeah. And are triggered for weird stuff. Like just weird triggers, same neurological or sensory, but we might handle it.
Are you saying that I'm special?
Oh, we're all very special. Uniquely able.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really, that's what it is. It's just different spectrum of reality. yeah, they're seeing different things than we are. You know, their minds, everyone's different. But yeah, I think that it's great. Like, you just kind of being with them in the moment, and then improvising whatever you need to do based on what knowledge you have, both experiential and, in the classroom. And so it's really helpful. But of course, just like being present for people and available, like I find it is really fulfilling. Like when I teach guitar, just being that guy, the guitar teacher guy.
And sometimes in those experiences, like the analogy that I brought up, sometimes it was that they maybe felt like there was nobody there meeting them. So maybe that was all that they needed.
They're acting out in a
Who
weird
knows?
way that they don't like, and then they find someone and then they see your beautiful face, and then they're like, oh, there's this really cool.
Or maybe I'm a target, and they're like, then they just like
right.
Me. I don't know. That's happened. It's happened. Trust me.
I know, right? Everyone has their way of communicating.
Oh, I've been cross-checked many times. I've had my bell wrong. Seen stars, dropped to my knees, lost articles of clothing because we've been mad, like all kinds of things. Yep.
I wish this was like a YouTube clip of all the things you just said.
Oh, that's just a short list.
It'd be hilarious.
That's a very short list. Good times. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing what educators go through, special educators. Yeah, fun. And they don't broadcast that. They don't, what happened to me today? I was bit, or I was spit on. I had to help this, person, and, they peed on me. You're like, there's a reason why I keep an extra change of clothes in my car. It's happened. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. That's really important. It's really great. Being a teacher, you're putting yourself in that position of helping guide beings. And really that lines up with what, the Buddha was doing. He was being a teacher, and he's trying to lead beings to happiness and to get out of their suffering, And, that's what you're doing as, a special education teacher. You're trying to make life better for people, and help them learn and become better people. And that's what we do for each other in kind of what I would call an enlightened society or something like that, where we're all really functioning towards bolstering a kind of a better life for everyone.
There's these theories that they try to put into law on a federal and state level, because there's more than one set of laws. Yeah. Morality into law, which is always, fun. Which, I mean, sometimes you have to do that. It's called least restrictive environment, LRE. And so, what do you teach? Well, the intention was always to the most independence in the least restrictive environment, so students could have the most sovereign life in the least restrictive environment that they were capable of maintaining. So write that into a curriculum.
Yeah, right.
That's fun.
In other words, like people in that situation aren't necessarily going to be able to sit still in a desk with a pencil and listen to the teacher. They're going to be like bouncing off the walls and stuff. And,
Or so you might have one like that, and then you might have another one that doesn't ever get out of the desk or move.
Right. But if you have
out of the way of the one that might hurt them with that pencil. That's happened.
We can't get that unrestricted. Sure.
Well, they exist in the same classroom, and it would be my responsibility to make sure that they are all protected and safe. And that's how you get your bell rung. Yeah.
I bet.
Fun.
Ring a ding dong.
Just hey, no, and bam. Well, they were protected.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take care of business. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I'm joking.
I was more like the catcher's mitt.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah.
Why do you think my face looks like this? No, I'm just kidding. Like a catcher's mitt, right? Anyway, so how did we do?
So we
Foundations of Joy.
I think we covered a lot in the book. We don't probably need to get any much further. We could keep going.
The last part is Foundations of Joy. Segue.
Yeah, right. You always give a segue to the next thing.
You always the last part. It's the last part, but Foundations of Joy.
Go ahead.
Buddhism is sometimes accused of being a pessimistic worldview. Teachings focus on reality of impermanence and suffering.
Right. It's like death and taxes.
Nothing is certain. But
like so, my teacher would counter that same thing because in a way that's very true. But on the other side, in this kind of more secret mantra, tantric level, the idea is one visualizes oneself as a fully enlightened like Buddha, whether female form or male form, and in a way it's like the most positive thing in the world because you're basically imagining that you're kind of one with divinity, that not you're kind of, but you are like one with divinity, if you want to use kind of that kind of Christian language. So the idea is so it's actually super positive because it's like once you realize you got to look at this. Okay, yeah, there's death, there's this and that, but then there's the other side, which is enlightenment. Kind of like living this great existence, of joy. Sorry, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna kind of go to the end. The last paragraph says, Siddhartha, am I saying his name right? Buddha,
sure,
found out for himself meditative stabilization by itself yields only a temporary respite from suffering, for it does not eliminate the underlying causes of dissatisfaction. However, this practice does offer valuable insight into the origins of pleasure and pain and is a valuable aid to the path of Dharma.
Yeah, he's saying something very specific there. He's talking about there's two different like paths to enlightenment. There's they call it the solitary path, like where it's just you're working to attain nirvana, which you get through the meditative equipoise. And then there's the Mahayana path, which is like kind of like liberation for all sentient beings. And what he's saying there is like, yeah, it's great to achieve solitary realization of an arhat, where you achieve you achieve nirvana, but they don't consider that full enlightenment in like the Mahayana schools. They consider kind of like you're like in a kind of a nice, almost like a picnic spot, but you do, and the benefits are you see the good and bad of samsara and the suffering and this and that. But then you can only stay in that kind of absorption for so long, and then eventually you have to end up taking rebirth and go through the whole gamut again. So what they propose is to work specifically, and this is probably what the next thing is, or not, but it's to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. In other words, kind of like this Bodhi mind, compassion mind practice for all beings. And that will wipe out all of the traces of the subtle traces of kind of the negative karmic patterns that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because I hear what he's saying. He's translating something, and it's really kind of wrote specific kind of Buddhist teachings. He's saying that Nirvana is great, but Mahayana is way better, or like fully enlightened is way better. It's kind of like a selling point, essentially.
So you're not. So are you saying that to be a bodhisattva is a better route than to be a Mahayana?
Yeah, like I mean, you have to be careful because it sounds like kind of like Mahayana supremacist or something.
I don't know what that means, so that's okay.
Well, no, there is like this like slight.
Not your mama. Sorry.
I don't even know why I'm explaining this. Probably nobody gets it. But
I'm trying to get it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. There's like two paths. The two kind of main, kind of nowadays what we call it. There's like the Mahayana, which is kind of the big boat, that help all beings to full enlightenment.
That's
And then,
the,
yeah, that's like they call it the larger scope, kind of the bigger scope. And then, you know, whereas like nirvana is really like they say you don't want to just work on just the solitary path to freeing yourself from this. Yeah, in other words, it's way further than just working for yourself to attain enlightenment. Just for like yourself, it's kind of like the greater enlightenment. So there's like the southern schools of Buddhism kind of practice the nirvana path, and they don't really consider Mahayana to be a thing. And the Mahayanas sometimes they have an attitude that they're is better than the other, and so
okay.
there's a slight thing in the Buddhist world where they're kind of like the two groups are kind of like,
Okay.
you know.
So when you nirvana though, is that like a state of like heaven, or is that something that you reach in like because samadhi is something that you reach while you're incarnated in a physical being. So is that part of like while you're in samadhi?
Yeah, actually, yeah. The
Okay.
samadhi, you create this, like you have this really good samadhi and you're practicing to clear all of your delusions, and you achieve great wisdom of like seeing reality, and you're kind of in this like you're seeing like the nature of your suffering, and you know, but it's not really the greater compassion isn't really activated there. I mean, I guess it could be, but so the idea is like kind of like when they talk about nirvana, they say it's kind of like considered nirvana is not full enlightenment, and so it's almost like kind of like a tear down if you want to look at it in a certain way. But there's a more subtle way of looking at it than the way I'm explaining it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder, and this is totally woo-woo alert, total woo-woo alert. In the practice of, and I might be using wrong terms, and that's okay. I wonder, it's just a wondering, in the practice of Saith, which wouldn't be that different than Saith, which is a Norse. It's just a Norse practice. Okay, I'll just leave it there.
I don't know.
You can call it anything you want. I mean,
but what is it?
It's paganism. I mean,
okay, but you don't know like what the specific practice is.
Well, I'm just gonna say that if they are, well, they can travel into realms. So practitioners, so they would do some meditation. There would be some specific mantras, and
yeah, that's how it's done.
Right. So there would be some specific things, and you know, I don't need to get into all that, but and I know that they go into realms with intentions, and there's some seeing, and I guess I always related nirvana to the realms, and realms like Valhalla. Valhalla isn't necessarily the only good realm. Like, by the way, there's other good ones, but.
Yeah.
It's just one of the. There's other realms. So
we have so many heaven realms in the Buddhism.
Yeah, and so like they talk about the halls of all. So I just kind of related it to kind of like the same kind of thing, but and they were kind of close geographically.
Yeah, I mean it all works together for me. I mean, to me, what's most important is the results. What your practice does, whatever the results of your practice are, if it's having an effect that's helping your consciousness and helping you gain wisdom and stuff, that's the goal,
Yeah.
How you get there is, in a way, it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there. But there are specific ways that will work to get you there, and
chances are, just like, they're all like shamanic practices. Chances are, as the human consciousness was developing, whether you call it Saith or you call it whatever, they're probably going to take similar parallel paths. It's just that these are the words that we say because this is what we call it, and this is what.
Did Vikings ever have top knots like Buddha did?
Did the what?
The Vikings have top knots like Buddha did?
Yeah.
Like one of those deals?
Well, yeah, they would do weird things with their hair. They didn't cut their hair really,
Me neither.
and they didn't
I
really cut
got
their
my
hair.
beard, you know.
They did. They did practices like to signify like transformation.
Yeah, good. Yeah, mark the moment.
Yeah, like
Feel my face of like a hawk right here.
like, you know, if there was like a death of a loved one, you know, like I'm transforming type of thing. Like it's just like a clean break type
Right.
of thing, or, you know, wanting to start over. You know, it was almost like a, you know, like it was kind of like a cord cutting.
Right.
You know, it was very personal thing. Practices were very, you know, you didn't go to a church and the, you know, to see the pastor, and the pastor had his like flock and everybody practiced the same way. You know, it was really dependent upon the leader of the household, or the like small little clan. So it was, you know, the patriarch and the matriarch, they were very what was it, binary? You know, it wasn't, you know, if whether that's the father, the uncle, the grandfather, or in the mother, and whatever, you know. So it was a little different
That's
than what
awesome.
we're accustomed to here, you know. So
I want my own Viking village.
yeah, I mean, Vikings were kind of
King of the castle.
I mean, being a Viking would be like being a Marine. I mean,
Right.
you know, so otherwise they were farmers.
Boat out of trees.
Yeah,
Pillage. Let's go pillage.
you know, with they'd carve the, you know, that big old boat with like a little knife. Take a little while.
I've seen Vikings on History Channel. I know all about it.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good show. Very good show.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Have you seen all the episodes?
Douglas says prayer and meditation all have this in common. Something there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to draw. I don't.
It's all different technologies for the same goals, right?
Or same technologies for the same.
A differentiation. I mean, there's differentiations in the technology,
definitely.
But their techniques are probably similar. You know, I mean, it's all the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not too stuck on any of it. Like, you know.
No, exactly.
It's like, you know, you get your tools, you adapt it to the situation.
Yes. Exactly. Human brain, human mind. We are sentient beings.
Yep.
You know, very, very powerful sentient beings. Yes, that we know, because we started out this conversation talking about the frequencies that are going on in this earth. What's going on?
It feels like really good energy for me. I don't know. I'm feeling good about everything.
I feel fine, but maybe because we've just been maybe a little bit more aware, and just kind of expecting it and anticipating it, and just kind of rolling with it. And people maybe that aren't, and it's not like a slight on anybody, but if you're just not around the circles and then it just hits you, you know, that can be shocking. That can be really traumatizing. But yeah, like it can't get any more in front of your face that the world is going through some changes.
Yeah. I call it the mega shift.
The mega shit?
The mega shift.
Oh, it is definitely a shift.
The mega shift.
It's the poles, it's the solar, it's the resonance, it's the C19, it's the
laser beams.
What laser beams?
We all have laser beams now. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Humans.
From where? Like my eyes?
Yeah.
Where are the laser beams coming from, Jess?
I'm saying, like we have lasers now in the human realm. And you know, our technology is getting more and more advanced, and there's new things happening all the time. And the next thing you know, we'll be able to like order food, and the replicator, and I'll be like, I want a steak, medium rare, and it'll like appear like in the microwave. It wasn't there, and now it is. You know.
Douglas says, kind of like remote viewing, faith of a mustard seed, and together we can move a mountain. Well, I sure know that remote viewing is possible, isn't it?
I'm remotely informed on the situation.
You're remotely informed on that situation? Would you like to speak more about that, Jess? Doug, are you actually asking that question? Because the Bodhisattva might have to answer that if you actually ask.
Bodhisattva, it's not me.
Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva.
Bodhisattva. Like the yeah. Well, remote viewing is.
You take that vow.
They if you hang out with like kind of like these lamas and stuff in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition and stuff, like, yeah, they'll be like, yeah, you can achieve these different abilities like remote viewing, or they'll even
Michael Jaco.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's helpful, but
he's
like
an intuitive warrior.
What? Yeah. He's great. He's got that great mustache, dude. He's just a badass. Love that guy. Yeah.
You should be his friend. You should be his friend.
You should be my friend.
I know. Like, you guys should like team up.
We already are in the ether world.
Astro.
Well, all us badass, we're gonna come in with the badass, awesome love vibrations. I thought of a new mantra. You want to hear it?
I do have. I have my own love bowl. I know he gets out a love bowl, but I have my own one. Mine's an A flat. Or
you have a love bowl.
I do. I think.
What? So do I.
Oh, yours is brass. Mine's not brass. I feel the love.
I love it. I feel the love too.
That's awesome. Oh, Douglas says, not a question of fact. Yeah.
Absolutely. Our minds are powerful, and
yes.
we can remote view, and we can move mountains with our minds.
Yeah.
You know, and that's true. So he's right.
And our other friend on this channel has described it as like, because everybody uses different ways to describe it, like throwing it. He throws it. He throws his third eye.
I'll be over there.
I'm just gonna throw it over there. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and throw it. Knock yourself out. I'm just gonna toss it over there and see what it like throws back at me. Okay.
Yeah, I got something, right?
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. It is a fact. But I mean, in our government, and I don't think people realize this, has been studying that for 80 years.
Yeah, they're studying it, like, and it's funny that it's like not really talked about in their circles so much. But people don't really. Let me just say this. I have this theory. I think people are a little bit afraid to admit that they have a little bit of. It's kind of like uncomfortable. It's like seeing somebody naked or something. Like to be able to see what people are. You notice what you know what people are thinking, or you say the same thing at the same time, or simple stuff like that happens every day. It's just like normal, right. But it is almost kind of slightly uncomfortable. So people just don't. It's kind of like talking about something you don't really. People are uncomfortable about it. A lot of people are.
I think those are some of that's the epigenetics. Thank you, King James. Some of that is based on that, and they think that there's such a taboo and things that are. Do you know what I mean by making that reference?
Not at all.
That it's sacrilegious, or it's
Oh, you're breaking a taboo by doing something like that.
Yeah, like it's something that's
Well, I don't even know about those taboos, so it's perfect for me. So I have no limits, Dan.
Yeah, that it's bad, that it's of the dark, or it's something that's wrong. And
right.
Well, I get just like anything else, you can be a nice person or you can be a jerk. How about just be nice? Just do that.
Right.
One thing.
DVD. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, but our government has been studying that for a very, very long time. Probably predates. I mean, on a linear timeline, World War II.
I mean, they're smart. They even study astrology too, like in terms of how things.
Oh yeah, and that podcast that I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast on Link Project, they were talking about that this is like they did like some kind of like a poll that they were talking about that more trillionaires, I think it was trillionaires or maybe it was billionaires, consult astrology than millionaires or billionaires, something like that.
Oh yeah, like the difference between a
Isn't that
millionaire
funny?
and a billionaire is somebody who realizes it's like no, I mean yeah, like a very simple example is full moon. Like that's astrology, right? Like that the full moon has an effect on society. Like people in ER see way more patients. Like people who work in schools see a lot more crazy stuff go on when the full moon is there.
Mm-hmm.
That's astrology.
Right.
Like, about the heavenly bodies are affecting the planet.
And barometer too. Barometer, if like there's a lot of pressure in the barometer, you'll see that too.
Right. So, you know, there's something to it. You know, you have to look deep, you know, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so they've been studying that. They just released that. There was some kind of official report that was from the 80s, and then they just it's called the Gateway Project, and they just released that like months to a year ago. That's what. So you can look it up. The documents are available online. The Gateway Project, and it talks about HemiSync, syncing the both sides of your hemispheres of your brain, which a lot of our more genius people in our human population, like Einstein and Tesla, they had synced hemispheres because they were able to use both sides of their brain, which also is important for the third eye component.
Being ambidextrous with your brain.
Yes. That's called being whole brain. Right. And it's important for access to your third eye. So they studied all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
There's a lot in there. There's a lot in that document, but that part, that HemiSync part, that about being whole brain is kind of an add-on. But
no, I think I've had those moments where I'm playing music and like where the rhythm part of me understood this other side of me, and it's weird how it conjuncts. It's like, yeah, you know, and then in a way that's like the samadhi thing where you're kind of merging both hemispheres into a singularity. I mean, you know, your mind is in a singularity.
Yeah. Well, you know, like the left side of the brain is responsible for some things, and the right side of the brain is responsible for another set of things. But if you're to hemisync them, then they have more plasticity, more neuroplasticity. And so then if you can then push them all together into, you know, the power of them into that third eye, then boom.
Right. Whoa.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
My mind is blown, both hemispheres.
Yeah. So the left brain has shorter neurons, and really can only feel a couple feelings. That's really more responsible for the amygdala response, the fight, flight, or freeze. You know, like when you hear like a loud noise and you respond, that's the, you know, I used to tell my students that's your kind of like your bodyguard or your that's your security system. So your body's going to react like, oh, it's going to protect itself, right?
Right.
So that's going to be the left side of the brain. It's also, you know, the side of the brain that is more analytical. It's, you know, going to be able to do math problems and such. Now, the right side of the brain has longer neurons, and so it has access to the range of emotions and in memory, and the hippocampus, and that would be like the scrapbook of your brain. Nice. And and all of that has to push through the Bodhi tree, the prefrontal cortex, and that's where you have your govna. Yeah, your prefrontal cortex that actually controls what comes out of your mouth. So you want that. That's your, gonna be your witness to everything. You want it to filter through that, which is also where your third eye and your pineal gland is going to like kick in, right? So, yeah, those are the big components,
Yeah, no, we're getting in a little talk about the brain physiology. It's pretty interesting.
Yes.
I
yes.
like it.
Yeah. So I used to show my students a little hand map. So we would have this is the brain. This is your prefrontal cortex.
Your brain on drugs.
This is the amygdala, and then this is where all your memories are. So if you lose it and you flip your lid, you have to breathe it back down. Because if you don't have your breath, your brain gets scared and it panics and you flip your lid and you have to breathe it back down.
Don't forget to breathe.
No, that's right.
I know that's right.
I know that's right.
Yep.
So, and they would tell me, I flip my lid and I just breathe it back down. Good.
Your consciousness rides on your breath.
Right. So if you have short breath and you're only taking breath to here rather than all the way down there, your brain automatically thinks it's panic, drowning. It's, like it's running from a tiger. You're not running from a tiger. There's no tigers to run from.
What if there is an actual tiger running out?
Well, then you should run.
Okay.
Yep.
That guy, the tiger guy.
Yeah. But we've kind of like gone on and on. So we should probably wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
And I am looking forward to
Christmas present.
What's that?
I said, wrap it up. Send it in the mail as a Christmas present.
Yeah. Oh, I sent my cousin her Christmas gift to Norway.
Norway.
Yes.
Way.
Stuff from Michigan.
No way.
Norway. Yes.
Yeah way. Yeah way.
Only cost me $50 this year. Last year it was $100.
I love it.
Yes. So she will be getting all stuff from Michigan yet again this year. Well, of course, but
Michigan rocks.
Michigan products, granola with cherries and chocolate covered cherries. And what else did I send her? Michigan salt. If you've ever had that, it's very good. Send her that. Okay. So she's got yummy stuff in the mail to her.
I got a pet care package from my mom today.
Yeah.
And it was full of homemade cookies and banana bread and salsa and jam. And money.
Oh. That's good.
My mom is awesome.
That's so nice.
Shout out to all the moms out there.
Yep.
We love you.
Moms are good. Thank goodness. Otherwise, none of us would be here.
Yeah, I know. Where would I be? I'd be a formless being.
Still standing on the edge of that diving board. We're all waiting in line. Somebody's going to push you in.
Yeah, back to your push it in theory. Hurry up! I need to incarnate. Jump in the pool. I'm having fun. Are you?
Pick a spot on the wheel already.
Yeah, hurry up! I need to go take rebirth.
All right. So
yeah. So everybody have a happy holidays and be peaceful and concentrate on having an awesome time and loving everybody.
Yeah. So will we be back next week? It's the 29th. Yes?
Sure.
All right.
Good night, Douglas.
Douglas?
He said good night. Look, read it.
Oh, did he? Good night, Douglas.
Good night. I enjoyed what I heard.
Thank you for your comments.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Douglas. Good
Bye.
time. Bye.